The alchemical journey really derives from mystery traditions that we find in many cultures all around the world. Going back thousands of years, we find this engagement with the 12 signs of the zodiac as a kind of journey, an initiatory journey. We find it in many traditions. And in a way, what we're trying to do with this program is to re-enliven that in a contemporary setting.
Well, welcome to the alchemical journey, and this is going to be the Aquarius walk, the walk around Glastonbury.
So we take people through a journey through the year, through the 4 seasons, through the 12 months of the year. And each month we meet for a weekend workshop.
So here we are at Chalice Well, which is really one of the most extraordinary sacred sites, sacred precincts in the whole of England.
And we look at our lives through the perspective of the sign of the zodiac that the sun is travelling through during that month. So we start the journey in Aries at the spring equinox, and then we go through the signs, through Taurus, Gemini, Cancer and so on. And each month we, using all sorts of experiential media, we use music, we use guided imagery, and just imagine that it's a beautiful spring day. And movement and theatre. Great, so Taurus. So we're going to get into our bull nature.
You might even want to make a bull noise. Start making a bit of a bull noise.
We walk in the landscape. And all of that is designed to help us drop into the deeper story of each sign. Each sign is multi-layered with story and images and association. And I think it helps people to weave things back together.
And you can see we've got Aries here, and we've got Pisces here. Aries with the head, Pisces ruling the feet. And if we wanted a complete person, we would want to somehow or other join the head to the feet.
The zodiac has this quality, because it's so deeply embedded in our cultural memory and our psychological memory, if you like, and it's so much at the core of so many spiritual traditions. In the European tradition, but you also find it in Middle Eastern traditions, you find it in Islamic traditions and so on. You find this zodiac really woven into that tradition. And so it's, you know, Carl Jung would say it's deeply in our collective unconscious or collective psyche, and it's a very coherent system. It's a very coherent framework for imaginative work. So looking at our lives as they are today, but taking these archaic, ancient ideas and weaving through the stories, the myths, the images, the symbolism, which is so rich, and working with that as a way of re-enlivening our sense of ourselves, getting back in touch with the very rich aspect of our lives that we may have lost touch with in our kind of modern materialistic culture.
So here we are, welcome to the tour, a really special place which people have been walking up in pilgrimage for 10,000 years. Landscape has been my passion really for, I don't know, something like 20 or 30 years. I'm fascinated by the way it affects people's lives, and I'm fascinated by the way we also impose ourselves on it. I mean, the ancients used to talk about genius loci, the spirit of the place, and, you know, identify that certain places carried a really extraordinary characteristic that really affected everybody there. So I'm interested in taking people into the landscape so that they can experience those kind of qualities. So you turn it into something of a ritual with some preparation, or if you like, a pilgrimage. So you've got to focus, you know, you're looking to climb a high mountain, you're going to the top because at the top there's a special place you can look down all around you. You get a much more powerful effect. It's a transformative experience. And these places where, if you like, the genius loci reside, those kind of places are entry points into the spiritual world, another dimension. There's a really special sign. We're on the figure of a bird, and there is the bird showing itself to us. Isn't that absolutely beautiful? And that threshold provides change in people in a very powerful way.
I think particularly on the Taurus weekend, my moon is in Taurus and moon rules my chart, so I was very particularly keen to do that weekend. You played a piece of music for those of us with moon in our charts, and I actually burst into tears as soon as I heard it. And very, very unlike me, I felt moved to write a poem about having moon in Taurus, and that was based on the walk we did, especially when we were in silence, which I found particularly beautiful. And although it was not directly about the experience, it was something stirred within me. And this poem came out, which was really wonderful.
And one of the lovely things about Landscape Zodiac is that on the land, on the ground, you have a representation of the signs of the zodiac. And you can walk on the land, walk actually through the months of the year, through the signs of the zodiac, and find that the actual signs carry the characteristics in the land of the signs in astrology. And what's exciting for me about going on the alchemical journey is the way that it affects people's lives.
I've been a harpist for about 6 years now, and as soon as the journey began for me, it had a lot of synchronicity. By the time we got to Libra, John produced this year cycle comparing the human life to the seasonal year, and it just sparked off a whole load of ideas in my mind. And by the time we got to only Sagittarius, it only took about 3 months, suddenly I realised that all my songs fitted each stage of the year, fitting the stage of the life journey. And yes, by Pisces it was ready. And I've been performing it, well, since February now. I've done about 6 performances, and it grows each time, which is lovely because obviously nothing stands still.
So as we take this journey around the Glastonbury Zodiac, we're really on a quest, journeying with King Arthur and his 12 knights of the Round Table that is the Zodiac. So as we do, we're rediscovering, remembering our link to the seasons, to the cycles of the year, cycles of nature, the cycles of life and death and rebirth.
What I'm seeing for myself now is the beginning of a big shamanic journey. And that means being much closer to nature, much closer to animals. I'm always looking out for meaning in behavior of animals. I'm looking out for changes in the seasons. And I am just having a completely different relationship to nature.
We're walking in a very particular way with a particular intention, thinking symbolically, using our imagination, imagining that we're walking the heavens on the earth, this idea that we walk the sky on the earth. It's a very powerful idea, and bringing the sky and all the myths and stories that belong in the sky, that also belong in our imagination, bringing those to life in ourselves, through our bodies, as we walk. It's really a quite incredible thing.
And now we're walking into paradise. Follow me.
So it was an incredible experience to do it, and life becomes quite an amazing adventure, really.
I think the most profound thing is it's allowed me to be in the moment, to really let go.
It's helped my career move into a completely new direction, which is totally authentic to me.
It's really allowed me just to be more me.
I'm feeling now the most settled and centred and fulfilled that I've ever been, really, and I could say that was a direct result of the alchemical journey.